Gulliver's Travels, Chapter 5. My life in the Queen's court was definitely a life of luxury. The Queen's carpenter made me a fine box for the bedroom and to travel in. The furniture was nailed to the floor, and the walls were padded to prevent any accidents while I was being carried. This portable room was much more comfortable than the hard wooden box the farmer used to transport me from town to town. Soon I was summoned by one of the Queen's servants to join her for dinner. Hello, Gulliver. Would you like to dine with me? I would be honored and privileged, Your Majesty. Please sit down. The Queen showed me to my own little chair and dining table, which were placed opposite her on the royal dining table. So, how do you like living in the royal court? It is wonderful. I can rest, read, and think about all of my adventures. I'm glad you're enjoying your stay here. Tell me about your travels. So I began to tell the Queen the story of my adventures in the same way that I entertained the crowds of giants in the markets around the kingdom. The Queen was a very grateful audience, asking many questions, laughing and smiling as I told the stories of my adventures. The Queen enjoyed my company so much that she asked me to dine with her every night. At first, it was difficult to watch her eat because each piece of meat was the size of 9 full-grown turkeys. Now I understood how the Lilliputians must have felt when they saw me eat the meat of several of their animals in one meal. One afternoon, I received a visit from one of the king's servants, who ordered me to see the king in his chambers. Hello, little Gulliver. How are you? I am very well, Your Majesty. Your people have treated me with much kindness. I'm glad to hear it. I wanted to talk to you about your home country. What is it called? I am from England, sir. England? I have never heard of it. What is it like? Well, in a lot of ways, it is like this land, green, lush, and beautiful. It is also ruled by a king and queen. And are all of the people small like you? Yes, they are. How interesting. And you're a doctor? Yes, but I have a great desire for adventure. That is what brought me here. Tell me more about your travels. And so I told the king about my travels, and he was also quite entertained. He was very curious about the habits, religion, and the governments of Europe. We talked for hours and hours. It is amazing. The people of this kingdom think they are so smart, and this little man has more brains than all of them combined. Ha, it is true. I started to become very comfortable with my life with the king and queen and began to forget the challenges of my small size. I became so confident that one day I teased the queen's dwarf about his size. You call yourself a dwarf? Look at me. I'm the true little man. I will show you who's the little one. The dwarf then picked me up and threw me into a large bowl of cream. I came very close to drawing and swallowed about a gallon of cream before Sally found me and scooped me out just in time. Another time, I was eating breakfast and some songbirds came by and took the bread from my hands. They were too big to fight, so I went hungry. My final struggle with my small size happened when I was walking around the courtyard and a hailstorm began. I had to run quickly to escape being hit by the bits of hail which were twice my size. A hit by one piece of hail surely would have crushed me to death. Just in time, I found shelter under the petals of a daisy. It was then that I realized I had to get home again, this time for good. One day I thought of a plan to escape this land of giants. I asked Sally to take me to the shore in my box. Sally, I haven't been to the sea in a long time. Would you take me there? Well, Gulliver, we aren't allowed to leave the royal court without permission. Just this one time, Sally. You know I'm a sailor and I long to be near the sea. Well, okay, just this once. I will take you at sunrise so I can look for seashells. So the next morning, Sally brought me to the seashore. Sally, please set me behind the water. I want to hear the waves. Here you are. She put down the box, and I laid on my bed, listening to the crashing of the waves on the beach. Suddenly, I was awakened by a very loud noise. Caw, caw! It was the great cry of a giant bird in flight. The sound came closer, and then I felt a tug on the box, and I felt myself being carried up, up in the air at a great speed. I could feel myself soaring through the air for a while, swaying in the cool sea breeze, and then I suddenly started to fall and fall and fall. With a terrible crash, my box home struck the water and began floating on the waves of the great sea. I floated in my box on the sea for hours and hours, fearing I would soon die, until I heard the sound of a ship in the distance. Sure enough, it was just the right size. I quickly climbed out of the door in the ceiling of my box and signaled the captain of the ship. Hello down there. Hello, I am standing at sea. Can you take me aboard? Grab this rope. The captain dropped his rope, and I gladly climbed aboard his ship, as I had learned from my previous experiences. I made sure to provide evidence of my experiences in the land of giants. My best evidence was my box home. The captain looked inside with amazement. So this is where you lived and slept? Much of the time, yes. It is amazing. And were the people good to you? Mostly, yes. However, I get tired of always being on show for them. I guess we all think we're bigger than we really are. Yes, it is true. And so I went back to England, my own land of the little people. From then on, I saw life in a completely different way. I was stronger, wiser, and had no more need for adventure. I still look out to the seas from the time to time and wonder about the lily pigeons and the brockenactions and how I've changed their lives and how they've changed mine forever.